Welcome to the Positive Productivity Podcast, episode number 89. This episode of the Positive Productivity Podcast is brought to you by the L.I.V.E initiative. In our society, it's so easy to get caught up in the drama and negativity of the world around us. However, we're ready to make the world a better place through improvement, impact, and integrity. You're invited to learn more about our book club, membership, live events, and mastermind at i3initiative.com.
Welcome to Positive Productivity Podcast, where we empower our audience to achieve and appreciate personal and professional success, especially in the face of adversity. Listen in as our guests reveal their stories of challenges and hurdles and how they overcame defeat and became triumphant in their endeavors. Let's get motivated and move forward with your host, Kim Sutton.
Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Positive Productivity. For those of you who have been listening for a while, I want to thank you so much, and I want you to know how much it really, truly means to me that you are still here. I can't believe we're already 6 months into the Positive Productivity Podcast. Now, you may have noticed that up until yesterday, I was missing for a few weeks. This episode is going to be just a little bit different from some of my other solo episodes, in that if you're listening with children who you do not want to hear any cuss words, you may want to save this episode for later. I am going to say one cuss word. It starts with the letter S and ends with T. So if you don't want them to learn that one, it's probably better to wait. We all go through periods of life where it feels like nothing can go right. These periods of life can be so frustrating. And just last week, which felt like week 3 of one of these periods in our life, I said to a client, if I could start a manure farm with all the shit that's hit the fan in our house, then I would be absolutely rich. Just to give you an idea of some of the things that have been happening around here. One of our twins, 2-year-old Davy, got his finger stuck in a door at the preschool and had to have a good portion of it reattached with a few stitches. And then my husband Dave re-injured his back from an injury he originally sustained in the Air Force. Today, my daughter Nevaeh came down with an infection in her leg. And that's only a few of the items that have been going on. Every time there seems to be some type of normalcy in the horizon, it all goes out the window as fast as I thought it would be coming. You may have heard me mention in some of the previous episodes, and I know you'll hear it in episodes to come, that the mountain that we're climbing is very steep. And sometimes it feels like the closer we get to the peak, the harder it is to climb. I know you've heard the expression before, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Well, for all of you listeners, I am revising this quote. For the Positive Productivity Podcast, I am going to say, when the shit hits the fan, start a manure farm. Get out your shovel, dig in, and make the most of it. Now, I am not going to lie and say I do it with a smile on my face. If you could hear any of the Skype conversations or see any of the texts that went out in the last few weeks, you would see my stress written all over them. While I generally keep a good disposition, people who I talk to a lot could feel the stress coming through. But through it all, I really did try, and I mean it, I tried to keep a smile on my face. It's not always possible though, but through it all, just remember there are better days coming. We just have to put on our farmer boots, get out the shovel, and shovel up the shit. Your better future is going to come out of the manure farm. Our struggles of the past are going to build a better future. So make the most of it. Throw some shit when you have to. Laugh along the way. And with that said, go forth and make it a positive and productive day. Hey, this is Kim Sutton, host of the Positive Productivity Podcast, and I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed what you heard and you want to share with others, please feel free to do so. I'd also appreciate your comments, your reviews, your ratings, and you can do that on iTunes or Stitcher, or even by clicking through to my website at thekimsutton.com and just leave a comment down below the podcast. I also want to invite you to send me questions at any time that I can address on one of the future episodes. To send me a question to address on a future episode, just visit my website at thekimsutton.com and click on the contact tab at the top. Again, thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I wish you a day filled with positive productivity.